Well, welcome everyone. I'm Suzanne Klasen, and my husband Steve and I own CruiseOne in Show Low, Arizona. And we are a team now. We have Lauren Klasen in our Tucson office, and she is also a travel advisor. I am an elite cruise counselor with the CLIA certification, and Lauren is now a certified cruise counselor. So, without further ado, let's jump into this river cruise presentation. So, we're going to talk to you a little bit about why you, our valued clients, are the heart of our agency. We're going to discover what makes Avalon just such a wonderful cruise line. We're going to talk about this particular itinerary, which we did in 2023, and I can assure you it is wonderful. And then we'll talk about why you're going to get a great deal by booking through us. And we have some exclusive promotional pricing just for you for attending this webinar. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, the best way to put this is that our clients are the heart of our agency. You are the most important part of our business. You are our whole reason for existing. And we are a proactive travel agency, meaning that we look for really unique itineraries, great destinations, and then we negotiate a contract with the supplier, and we're able to pass on special pricing just for you. And I will let you in on the best kept secret in travel is that you don't pay any more to use the services of our agency, a professional travel agency. The commission that we earn as travel advisors is built into the price, whether you just book it online directly with the cruise line or you book through us. And because we have a special group contract, you're even going to get better pricing than if you booked with Avalon Direct. So let's go through a couple of things. Steve and I are really avid travelers, and we are very lucky because the internet, almost every single cruise line has Starlink as their internet provider. And we are able to run our business from anywhere in the world. And we use that experience that we have from traveling to, again, pass on insider tips, make the experience for our clients that much more extraordinary. And you know how they say, never trust a skinny chef? I like to say kind of the same thing. Never trust a travel advisor that doesn't travel his or herself. So we love our groups. We specialize in doing travel with groups, and these are just some pictures of some groups that we traveled with recently. I am a certified Avalon Waterways specialist, and I also have certification from their sister brands, Glovis and Cosmos. Couple things to tell you about Avalon Waterways is they are an award-winning cruise line. They have been the USA Today Reader's Choice, one of the 10 best cruise lines in the world. And they are also the #1 ranked river cruise line by the readers of Cruise Critic. And I always say that strong partnerships create a great experience for our clients. So that's why we partner with Avalon Waterways, is they are such a great product. It's something we love delivering to our clients. Avalon has a lot of inclusions. They include more than you would get from, say, a typical ocean cruise line. Of course, you've got all your meals. You've got complimentary wine and beer with those meals. They also have a happy hour. You have a choice of tours in most ports. They have some of the largest standard accommodations on the rivers, daily housekeeping, and your tour manager is going to be with you from start to finish, even if you do a land tour or a land extension. And in each of the cities that you visit, they have a local guide that is going to give you all the inside tips and history of each town. So you have just a wonderful onboard experience with Avalon. But don't believe me, let's let Graham McTavish tell you a little bit more about Avalon. Oops, hang on just a second. I don't think I shared my sound. So let me share my sound. That will fix that. Can we just say? All right. Let's see if we can hear him now. I know. Oops.
No sound.
Yeah, we still can't hear him.
Oh, you can't hear him? Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Let me stop my screen share. and then I will share it again. So let's try that again. Share. And I'm going to share screen too. I had forgotten that I had videos in this. And share sound. Okay, there we go. Share. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Sorry about that. All right, here we go.
We like watching them pop up anyway.
A true discovery and remarkable experiences
There we go.
are the rewards for the curious. They are the gifts that reside beyond the ordinary. Welcome aboard Avalon. Smaller ships, bigger experiences, fewer people, more of everything, right at your fingertips. And you wake up in the best staterooms in the business, to a new port every day, right in the heart of great cities, with nothing but possibilities ahead. Driven by out-of-the-box thinking and a relentless pursuit of better, Avalon heard the siren song to elevate cruising, and they have. So if you believe that life is worth living, not looking, memories are worth making, that better stories need better settings, and that we could all use a little different, you're ready for an Avalon cruise. Cruising elevated.
I think that's a great little video. So this presentation, we're going to focus on the 9-night Christmastime in Germany, Alsace, and Switzerland cruise. So first thing I want to kind of answer for you is what to expect at Christmas markets. So one of the things that maybe people don't realize is that not only are they selling goods there, but there is amazing food in each of the local markets, and it tends to be regional. So you see in this picture here, let me point it out here. Those are the Nuremberger sausages. So you can get a little sausage roll with the Nurembergers. This is in France where I had escargot. This was in Frankfurt. They had some of the typical Frankfurt dishes. There's Steve eating a Frankfurter. So it's really every place you visit is going to have a little bit different cuisine for you to enjoy. So that's one of it, is kind of having that culinary adventure through the Christmas markets. And Christmas cookies. This is a picture of one of the stalls in Nuremberg that sells the Leberkuchen. And you have different regional cookies all around, but this Leberkuchen is the most popular. It is made with cinnamon and spices, almost like it's hard to describe. I just call them Nuremberger Christmas cookies. They are absolutely delicious. And then the most popular drink served in the Christmas markets is the warm spiced wine called Glühwein. And one thing that I like to do was, in each little town we visited, I purchased a glass of Glühwein in the souvenir cup, and then got to take those all home with me when we came back from the Christmas markets. So it's a wonderful way to remember each of the little places that you visited. The towns are all extravagantly decorated for Christmas. The stores put all kinds of decorations out. They will have playground areas for children, and it really makes you feel like it truly is a holiday setting. And of course, they have local crafts that are typical of the particular place that you're visiting. But there's also commercial goods as well. And I took a picture of the Katie Wolfart Christmas store. It is a year-round Christmas store, and they have special pop-ups in the Christmas with their collector's items. They have an ornament that you can buy that they only sell in each city. So like if you visit Heidelberg, you can get the Heidelberg ornament. You can get the Strasbourg ornament. They're wonderful stores to visit that are year-round stores, but they also have pop-ups in the Christmas market. One thing that makes it different by choosing Avalon as your river cruise is that they offer 2 to 3 different choices of activities that you can do in each port. And they divide them up. We'll go into this a little bit more detail, into their classic, which is going to be the historic tour. The discovery tour is going to be something maybe a little bit more experiential. And they do have discovery experiences that they bring on board the ship as well. And then they have the active. They have an activities host who will lead you on a morning hike or a bicycle ride, those kind of things. So you have some different things that you can do in most ports. So this particular cruise that we're talking about is from December 9th to December 19th, 2027. And I'm going to show you the great itinerary. But first thing I want to show you is that you do have the option of booking the pre-cruise extension to Prague in the Czech Republic. So that's going to have 2 nights in Prague, a full, I believe it's a half-day tour of Prague, time to explore the Christmas markets there, and then a transfer to Nuremberg to meet the ship. Now, if you don't want to do that extension, you can go straight to Nuremberg. We usually fly into Munich and then take a transfer. It actually ends up being a little less expensive to fly to Munich and transfer to Nuremberg than it is to fly to Munich and then take a little shorter flight to get to Nuremberg. So I usually recommend just fly into the big airport. It keeps it a little bit more simple. This is a wonderful, charming town. We absolutely loved Nuremberg. And then so day 1, you embark the ship in Nuremberg. If you wanted to come in and spend a little bit more time in Nuremberg and enjoy some of their great food or shop the Christmas market a couple more days, you could do that as well. And I think that's kind of what we're leaning towards doing. But, the Prague extension is going to be a great experience as well. You need to be on board the ship by 5 p.m. They'll have dinner that night. If you want to go out that night after dinner, they can arrange for a taxi to pick you up at the cruise ship and take you into the Christmas markets that night. So it's a beautiful area to visit at Christmas time. Day 2, you're going to get a nice tour of some of the medieval architecture, the fountains, the architecture, visit castle. There's also if you want to do an optional tour, they have a tour that visits some of the other historic buildings there and where they had the Nuremberg trials. The evening, you will be back on the ship and cruising overnight to Bamberg. And this day, of course, it's going to include breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the ship. We tended to like to buy those little sausage rolls when we were in town, so we didn't have to go back to the ship for lunch, but if you want to, it is included, and it is a nice lunch that they serve on board. So overnight, you'll cruise to Bamberg, and this is on the Main-Danube Canal. So this was the last waterway that was completed in Europe that really connected all of the rivers together by connecting the Main to the Danube. And this is a wonderful experience. You go through several locks going in this area. And you dock right outside of Bamberg, and then they take you into town where you get a tour of this beautiful, beautiful city. This city is known for being one of the first places that popularized the nativity scenes in people's homes. There's an amazing cathedral there, basilica, and this was an ecclesiastical center in Germany. So that is why they have this grand church. They also are famous for this Rathaus, which is the city hall that was built in the middle of the river. And the reason they built it there was because they were combining the 2 sides of the river into one town. And they decided to build the Rathaus in the middle of the river so that it didn't give preference to either side of the river for having the Rathaus. You get a wonderful walking tour of this town, and again, medieval architecture, these beautiful buildings, and wonderful Christmas markets to shop in Bamberg as well. Day 4, we head over to Würzburg. So Würzburg is one of the larger cities that you're going to visit. In this town, of course, you'll have time to explore the Christmas markets, but there's also an optional tour that takes you over to, let me see, I may be in the wrong city for that. So there's a sightseeing tour of the town here, and you're going to see the bridge and the fortress and the bishop's residence, all those kind of things. And there is the optional, that's what it is. The optional tour is to Rothenburg. If you've never been to Rothenburg, I would highly recommend this. The Katie Woolfart German Christmas Museum is there, as well as her original, I believe it's the original store where they started the year-round Christmas store. So great day there in Würzburg. And then we'll head overnight again to Miltenberg. This was a delightful little town. It was one of the smaller Christmas markets, but it just felt so quaint. There's this beautiful bridge that's right in town, and of course, adorable decorations. This is also an area that is famous for its wines, so you might want to try some of the local wine there. And it's also the home of Germany's oldest inn. So then we head on to Frankfurt. And in Frankfurt, they have a couple of different choices, but the one that I would recommend is the tour to Rudesheim. Rudesheim is one of the most adorable little villages on the river. If you didn't want to do this tour, I'm sure they will have a transfer or something that will take you down to the Christmas markets in the heart of Frankfurt. Frankfurt is a very big city. Its nickname is Manhattan because it's on the Main, and it has a huge skyline similar to Manhattan. But Rudesheim is this adorable little village with these wineries. You can take these cable cars up to the top of the hill and see this impressive view of the Rhine. This is a city that we really enjoyed visiting last time we were there. So I would recommend that you do the tour to Rudesheim. But if you just want to hang out in Frankfurt, that's an option as well. So then we head on to Speyer. And Speyer does have its own Christmas market. If you didn't want to venture further afield, you could stay there and enjoy Speyer, or you could take the tour to Heidelberg. And this is where you can see the world's largest barrel of wine. You can tour the town. Alternatively, like I said, you do have the option of relaxing in the beautiful town of Speyer and just enjoying that. And then we are going to go overnight to Kehl, where you're docked just outside of Strasbourg, and they will take you via coach into Strasbourg. You'll get a walking tour of the town. You'll get to see some of the most important things in Strasbourg, including the cathedral. 2 years ago, when they're at Christmas time, they have these amazing tapestries that are only displayed during the Advent season in the cathedral. They just take them out once a year, and we were very lucky. We got to see these tapestries that I believe were depictions of what is known as the Stations of the Cross in Catholicism, and they were different moments in Jesus's life leading up to the Nativity. So very, very interesting tapestries there. And this area here that you see in this picture is La Petite France. This is this wonderful old medieval-looking village with its own little canal boats, and it's just a little bit different area of Strasbourg that is beautiful to visit. Again, this is some more pictures of Strasbourg, and the classic one is, again, that sightseeing tour. They do have an optional excursion to another wine country village in Alsace. So if you've been to Strasbourg and wanted to just do something different, you can do those optional excursions. Now, the ones that say optional are going to have usually an extra charge, but the active excursions aren't even necessarily listed on this presentation. They usually kind of like, okay, who wants to do a bike ride today? And they'll get the group together and you can do a bike ride. I do believe that this is one of the places where they have a bike ride is in Strasbourg. So that's something you can do if you want to be a little bit more active. Here's some pictures of the different Christmas markets in Strasbourg. Now, nearby Strasbourg is the town of Suflenheim, and this town is famous for its pottery. So in a lot of the gift shops in this part of Alsace, you can buy some of this famous pottery. I bought some the last time we were there, and I bought some 30 years ago when we were there. So it's definitely, and it's all beautifully decorated like you see in that little piece that's just in the upper left-hand corner. So just my little insider tip, get some of this amazing pottery. There's this very unique clay that they make the pottery from, and that's what makes it, very, I guess, unique, different. Also in Alsace, we're talking about the cuisine. So I wanted to point out what this is. This is kind of a hybrid between a crepe and a pizza and a quesadilla. And this is absolutely delicious. They take a crepe, they kind of put cheese and lardons on it, and then they hard fire it in a flash fire it in almost like a pizza oven, and it comes out. It is one of my favorites of the street foods you can get in the French Christmas markets. So then we head over to Breisig, Germany. And this is a place where you can take an excursion to go visit the Black Forest area, or you can stay right in town and go visit the Christmas market. So you have some options there. Of course, that is one of those famous Black Forest buildings that are, it's in sort of like a historic outdoor museum where they've collected several of these buildings. You get to see and learn about the history of this area. There's also an optional excursion to Colmar. And this is one of my favorite places that we visited when we were at Christmas markets in 2023. A beautiful little town, some of the best decorations. These canals run through the entire city. And if you've never been to Colmar, that is one of the optional excursions that I would recommend. Of course, that included one is going to go to the Black Forest area. So again, if you're interested in history and architecture, that's available to do too. So then the next day, our cruise ends in Basel, Switzerland. We'll disembark. You can choose to extend your stay in Basel, or you might want to go to Zurich and visit that area. There's lots of different options, so we can customize how you want to end your cruise, however you want it. So next, I'm going to go into a segment that's going to talk about what makes Avalon the best river cruise line to work with. We got that little teaser from Graham McTavish, but this next video is going to be about their ships. And their ships are what makes the river cruising experience with Avalon really incredible. So these folks are standing in what's called a panoramic, how can I explain? It's a panoramic French balcony. So you see how wide that French balcony opens. Now there's not an area to step out on, and I have a video that I'll get to explain that.
Oh.
So all river ships, just so you know, are approximately the same size because they've got to fit under the same rivers, under the same bridges and through the same locks. So there's a distinction between the ships, and that's what this video is going to show us. So let me talk about that.
The sweet ships of Avalon, designed from the ground up with an attention to detail river cruising has never seen before.
What'd you say?
There's nothing quite like river cruising, no matter who you cruise with,
can't hear
but
it?
there are some pretty big differences between companies, starting with how they look at staterooms. And our one-of-a-kind Panorama Suite is proof of our innovation, our imagination, and our desire to create a smarter use of space. To give you some perspective of how much better our staterooms are, we're comparing them to the average river cruise cabin. Here's the average window, roughly 7 feet wide, with an opening under 4 feet. Here's our window, nearly 11 feet wide, floor to ceiling, wall to wall. And when it opens, it really opens, wide enough to let the outside in, because the opening is a full 7 feet, almost twice the size of the others. It's the largest standard window in river cruising. Now, let's take a look at the bed of the average cabin. It faces the wall, not much to look at there. We had a much better idea. What if we angled the wall and turned the bed? That little change gives you the perfect perspective of the amazing views out your window. We then turned our attention to the balcony. Here's the average river cruise balcony. Seems like a nice idea, but as far as we can tell, there's not a lot of room for people to enjoy the views out there. And they had to take space from your stateroom to create that small deck space outside. So here's our better idea. Reclaim that space, push the window out, add a spacious dining and seating area for up to 6 adults, combine it with the largest sliding glass door in the business, and voila, you have an open-air balcony, the only one of its kind in river cruising, and you can enjoy it day and night, no matter the weather. Plus, you'll enjoy a lot more livable space, a full 200 square feet. We gave our room an attention to detail unmatched in the industry. We offer comfort collection beds, plenty of easily accessible storage, and we even added sound dampening insulation in our walls to make it less likely you'll hear your neighbors or they'll hear you. And we didn't stop with the room. We turned that same attention to detail to the bathroom. We took a look at the bathroom of the average ship and we knew we could do better. By angling the wall, we opened up more space in the bathroom. Then we took our newfound space and we made it luxurious. We have a large tile shower with glass doors, marble countertops, premium fixtures, L'Occitane bath amenities, and shelves to store all your necessities. And the best part is that there aren't just a couple of these staterooms on our ships, reserved for those who want to pay more. 80% of the staterooms on our suite ships are Panorama Suites. And once you leave your suite, you're likely to find fewer people on our suite ships. Because with our bigger staterooms, there is less capacity for passengers. which means more space everywhere you go. As you can see, more has gone into the amazing Panorama Suites, so you can get so much more out of them. We invite you to compare, and you'll see there's no comparison.
Well, not only do we love those rooms, but I get feedback from my clients. Oh my gosh, Suzanne, we love the rooms. Thank you for putting us on Avalon. They really love them. So let's compare the Avalon Suite. Just this slide kind of shows us to the leading competitors' cabins. So you can see that the leading competitors' cabins are going to be about 150 square feet to 185. And that 185 for the standard cabin includes that balcony space. So with Avalon, you get 200 square feet of flexible indoor-outdoor space, a nice large bathroom. I mean, that bathroom is a game changer. It is so spacious and comfortable. And then plenty of storage space, desk space, and your seating area. Very, very nice rooms. And to me, it makes all the difference. This is a picture of Avalon on our very first river cruise with them that we were in Budapest. So that's just kind of my own picture of what the suites look like. And then here's the bathroom, again, my own pictures. So you can kind of get an idea of how spacious it is. And that closet is a big closet. My husband's kind of a bigger, taller, excuse me, not the closet, the shower. My husband's a bigger, taller guy, and he thinks it's the best shower in cruising. So very comfortable. Now, if you're on a little bit more of a budget, they do have the Riverview rooms, which are also very generously sized. The average Riverview room on competitors is about 150 square feet. So these are 172. The bathroom is laid out a little differently, but this is perfect for somebody who's maybe traveling solo or on a little bit more of a budget. The other thing I love about the Avalon ships is this aft-facing lounge. They have a beverage center there, they have snacks, and they have seating for people. Now, on some of their competitors, this area, they put 2 expensive suites. So the only people who can enjoy this area on that particular cruise line's ship are the people that paid premium dollar to get the expensive seats. Whereas on Avalon, this is an area that everyone can use and enjoy. And sometimes the best views are behind you. So it really makes for a great place for you to enjoy the river views. There's even a little deck out there that is the smoking area. But if there's not somebody out there smoking, it's a great place to sit, even if you're not a smoker. This is the Panorama Lounge. So this is where all your briefings are going to be, your evening entertainment, your happy hour. This is where your cruise director is going to explain to you what we're doing the next day and the timings of everything that we need to do. This is a gathering place where everyone on the ship can fit. And remember, this ship holds 168 passengers. The leading competitor has 198. So they have more people and less public space dedicated to them. So that's another thing that just makes Avalon's cruise experience so special. This is the gym and the dining room, and then they also serve afternoon snacks in that panorama lounge. Now, if you don't want to dine in the main dining room and have a little bit lighter fare, they also have dining up in that panorama lounge. There's a small seating area, and it's not really a buffet. They just bring little light bites. It's a little glass container of the dishes that are being served downstairs, and it gives you a chance to try a small portion of maybe more than one entree if you want. The Panorama Bistro is a very relaxing place if you just want to have like a little bit quieter dinner with your friends on the ship. Again, we mentioned that they have a flexible dining. If it is a beautiful day, they have a barbecue that's up on the top deck, and sometimes they'll serve lunch up there if the weather is particularly conducive to that. They have room service now on Avalon. They have, again, that less formal Panorama Bistro and wonderful Avalon Fresh program that's making sure that you are going to get fresh, local, healthy ingredients in your food. And it's not all food, it's good food. So here's some of the things that are regional specialties that they serve on Avalon Waterways. This is a pumpkin strudel, Wiener Schnitzel in Vienna, cabbage rolls in we had that in Bucharest. And then when we went into Bavaria on the last day, this is a different itinerary, but they served this wonderful Bavarian lunch with all kinds of traditional Bavarian foods. So that's one thing I love about Avalon is that you get the destination not only when you're off the ship, but you get the destination on the ship. And it really makes for an immersive experience. They also have a happy hour. So when your cruise director is talking to you and talking to you about what's going on the next day, you are able to enjoy complimentary house wine, beer, drink of the day at no extra charge. It's usually 1 hour before the dining time opens. Dining is usually about 7 p.m., but that can vary depending on what the schedule is for the day. So this is kind of a summary of our itinerary. You get 3 fantastic countries. You're going to get to see Germany, France, and Switzerland, and all of their beautiful, amazing Christmas markets. But if you don't, and here's a look at the itinerary. Let me go over that with you. But I wanted to mention this, there is a 5-day and a 4-day version of this cruise. So the shorter version would be Nuremberg to Frankfurt, and then there's a version that goes Frankfurt to Basel. So it is available with a shorter itinerary. Christmas markets do tend to sell out, so this is why we're promoting this now. These are your prices, not per person. This is total for 2, and these prices. I'll get to the next slide. Because we have great group amenities for the people on our cruise. We have free prepaid gratuities, so you don't have to worry about the gratuities for all your staff on board. Steve and I are going to be hosting this, so we will be on board the ship to make sure that everything's exceeding your expectations. And we do have a limited allocation of special single pricing. So for those of you that are solo travelers, this is the time to book, because this early booking is critical to getting those special prices on the solo cabins. And we also have a special for this webinar, November 4th, 2025. If you can book by then, you're going to get an additional $50 savings per person off our group fares. So again, now is the time to book. I did mention the 4 and 5 day version is also available. So if you do not want to do the full length version, give me a call. I can get you pricing on these for the type of cabins that you're interested in. This is the pricing per person for the shorter cruises. The other slide that I showed had the pricing per cabin based on double occupancy. So this is per person based on double occupancy. I know it's a little confusing. It looks dramatically less expensive to do the shorter version. It is, because it is shorter, but it's not a quarter of the price. It's about half the price. Avalon goes all over Europe. And this is a map that just shows all the different rivers that they cruise. And then you can also book your air through Avalon. They have a pretty good air program. It's available 11 months before you cruise. So it's too early to book the air now. I can get you a quote when we are inside that 11 months. An additional $300 deposit secures that air reservation. And you don't have to pay for the rest of your air until final payment. So that kind of gives us a summary of Avalon. I do want to just mention really quick that we do other group cruises for those of you that are new to our agency. We have the Celebrity Solar Eclipse Cruise in August 1st of 2026. I still have a really good allocation of this in the concierge class and some of the ocean views. And it's about half the price of what you pay at Celebrity. Maybe not quite that much, but it's deeply discounted off the direct Celebrity price. Steve and I are kind of become eclipse chasers. So we are doing the 35-night voyage of the Vikings with Holland America that is round trip from Boston. So, and I do have some other options that are solar eclipse, and I even have some options on Celebrity for 2027 for their solar eclipse cruise. We also specialize in expedition cruises. So if you've ever wanted to go to Antarctica, we do have a group that's going in February of 26. We also have 2 groups in 2027 that are going to Antarctica. One includes South Georgia and the Falkland Islands, and then the other one includes just the Antarctic Peninsula, but you go across the Antarctic Circle, which is also what our 2026 one is going to be doing. If you've never done an expedition cruise, I do have webinars on my YouTube page, so you can look that up, or you can give me a call and I can explain what an expedition cruise is like. If you want a more traditional sailing, I do have several itineraries in 27 that include Antarctica. It is scenic sailing only. You don't get to get off and walk around. Holland America has a very interesting, extensive 70-day grand voyage that goes all the way around South America and spends several days in Antarctica. So another great thing. We are going back to Svalbard in June of 2024. Again, an expedition cruise, 120 passengers, ocean going. You get to see glaciers, polar bears, all kinds of wildlife on this cruise, and I highly recommend it. We just got back from our second expedition cruise with Aurora Expeditions. They are such a leader in this field, and if you are interested in it, I can tell you all about them. With Holland America, we are doing Scandinavian capitals in May of 2026, and then our wonderful folks at Globus have put together a tour that you can add on to that, and it is May 25th. So you can do the Scandinavian capitals with Holland America and then join Globus. Globus is the sister company of Avalon Waterways. They're all part of the same brand. We have some small ship cruising doing the Adriatic in Greece. And again, call me up. I can tell you more about this. And then we also have several Europe river cruises. Again, we have some webinars that are on our YouTube page, and there's one that is in the summer of 26, and it is Amsterdam to Basel with Lake Lucerne and Lake Como. Columbia and Snake Rivers, we are doing our first river cruise group with the folks from American Cruise Line. This is a beautiful itinerary that takes you some of those beautiful places in the West. And then in October of 27, we have several opportunities for you to do these Chasing Northern Lights cruises with Holland America. If you're interested in that, reach out to me. If you don't find anything you like in this webinar, you can go to our groups page. We have all of our personally managed groups there. And then CruiseOne is also part of the world's largest, or the North America's leading retailer of cruises. That is World Travel Holdings. So we have great buying volume. They are our franchise organization. And so we have better than direct rates on literally thousands of sailings. So I can almost, if you're flexible with your date and you want to work with me, I can find you something that's going to be a better than direct deal. So I would love for you to reach out to me. You can call me at the 805-210-5327 number, and you can get a complete quote on this Avalon Waterways River Cruise or any other. We have a low price guarantee, and of course, you're going to get all of our great concierge service that our agency is known for. In summary, we do believe that Christmas markets are one of the best ways to experience the holiday season in Europe. Those cruises that go to visit these markets are an incredible way to immerse yourself in that holiday spirit of the destination. It's going to be escorted by Steve and I, so we're going to be on board to make sure that every aspect of your trip exceeds your expectations. We have an amazing Avalon tour and onboard experience to offer. That's why we partner with them. They are such a great river cruise company. And of course, we have our exclusive pricing with the free prepaid gratuities. So we have contract pricing, and we're including those gratuities. Plus, if you book by November 4th, you're going to get that extra $50 per person off the price of the cruise. And when you call me to get a quote, I will send you a whole detailed itinerary, a packet, all the pricing and everything, so you can see everything that is part of your cruise experience with Avalon. So do we have any additional questions or comments? Is there anything I didn't cover that you would like me to go over with you? If you have a question, you can either put it in the chat, or you can just unmute and go ahead and ask me while we're here on the webinar with you. Anything in the chat, Steve?
Nope, all good.
Okay.
No
All right.
questions for me.
Okay, great. Well, hopefully I covered everything. I'm going to go ahead and go to my last slide. Again, we are a team, Suzanne and Steve, and then Lauren is in our Tucson office. So no matter what who answers the phone. You're going to get our great concierge level service. You are going to get a personalized planning experience. So you can reach out to either myself or Lauren, and we will get this quoted for you. Like I said, send you a complete packet, everything for you to review. And we're here to answer all your questions before you put down deposit. We want to make sure that it's the right fit for you. And again, we can quote you both the long itinerary or one of the shorter ones if you're interested in maybe not spending so much time on the river. It is a great way to see it. We've done this itinerary. It was 3 countries, so many different experiences because the French Christmas markets are a little bit different than the German ones. And it just made for a wonderful experience. And so that's why we decided to host it on the longer itinerary. And we would encourage you to do that one because it really is an amazing experience. So I'll go ahead and have Steve in the recording.